Nick and Mud's top 100 games. But does anyone care what they have to say? I know I don't. Cause they may dab, they might scream, they may say some things that are plain wrong. Dab on it, dab on it. But they are dumb bing bongs. My teacher's better.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Murphy.
Nick Murphy.
We are the brothers Murph, and we are plowing through this top 100 like what? I don't know.
Just like that.
We're going through it, though, and today we are bringing you number 70 to 61.
Whoa.
Is it anticlimactic that it doesn't end on a 0 for you?
Kind
These
of,
lists?
but
Whatever.
But it makes sense because you got to end on 1. So,
You're right.
it checks out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm with it now.
But
You're
yeah.
right. Number 1.
Let's get into it again. A reminder, we are not bought and paid for. We are our own people.
Yeah.
Okay?
All right. Got that?
Good. Let's get into 70.
Boom.
70.
So, real quick, you know what's really cool, man? Is that Brothers Murph are sponsored by Kool-Aid. So number 70 is brought to you by Kool-Aid. That's right. We rounded up the Kool-Aid man. He's with us now.
Brothers Murph, Brothers Murph, Brothers
Our number
Murph.
70 is all about, we paid out mad skrill for the Kool-Aid man. Sometimes you're gonna pay mad money for random fancy things. Sometimes that's all you want in life is to live a very fancy life and be very posh.
Yeah.
And so this game is an auctioning game by the name of High Society.
Oh, okay.
And it's a Reiner Knizia auction game. That's all it is you're going to get different cards. You're all like French folk who are just you just want to live the most like, you just want to live with wants and abandoned.
Get some parfum.
Yeah, so you can get like things like perfume, or you can learn dressage and be a horse person. And all these things, and you're going to bid for all the various items. They're worth different amounts of points from 1 to 10. And there's certain cards that are kind of qualifiers. They might double your score. They might cut your score in half. Some there's some bad ones, and all it is that you're just bidding.
Yeah, just bidding.
But it's an interesting thing because you all have the same exact cards,
Yep.
And they have different values from like 1,000 francs to 25,000 francs. And once you use a card, if you like win the bid and you have to pay for it, you lose that card. So there's this weird thing of like which cards to use. There's no making change. There's none of that business. So which cards do you use so that you can make sure you don't use all your money? You want to use most of your money, but you also don't want to be the most poor at the end of the game because the person who has the least amount of money at the end of the game is out.
Automatically
They
out.
don't even get to score what
Even if they
bought.
have way more points than everyone. If you have the least amount of money, you're gone.
So there's this weird like tightrope walk of you want to make sure you're blowing mad cash and living a fancy life, but it's also gauche to be super poor. So
you don't want to be poor. So
yeah, so it's just like a really simple. You're bidding, and people are going to bid until everyone but one passes. If you bid and bid and bid and then pass, you get to recollect your money, and only the person who stays in last has to pay. So you're trying to get people to overpay for things.
Yeah.
It's just a really interesting, fun game that, like, every time we play, we inevitably get into very silly French accents. We talk about the fancy life we're going to live.
We're going to get 30,000 francs.
Yeah, I'm going to get some cologne, get some perfume, and I'm going to have some nice eat, some food, and it's just like, it's so fun. It's just a fun,
great.
simple game, great filler, high society, my number 70.
My number 70 is actually also in the French theme, and it's French love being fancy, and the other famous French time is cutting people's heads off in the street.
Very famous time in France.
Famous time in France.
So much
Cutting people's heads off in
fun.
the street. My game is called Guillotine.
Good call.
Guillotine is also another little filler. We got filler territory here.
Sure.
And it's about the French Revolution. And it's this really morbid game that I love. And I love introducing this game to people because it always goes over well. But essentially, it's a game where at one end is the guillotine, and then there's just a line of nobles that are all just going in and getting the heads chopped off. And what you're doing,
the people,
is you're on your turn. The only thing you have to do is you're going to collect the person who's in line, who's first in line.
At least part of them.
And essentially, you're collecting their head. Let's be honest. You're collecting their bloody head. And that's what it is. And then the line moves up, and then the next player has to collect that. And then you have action cards, and mostly what these action cards do is manipulate the line.
Yeah.
So I can play this card, and I can move one person exactly 2 places forward. I can move any person I want. And because all the cards in a lot of these games, these set collection games, are worth a certain amount of points. So like Marie Antoinette's head is worth 5. There's only a couple cards worth 5, but then a piss boy, there's actually one called the piss boy. He's only worth...
We didn't publish the game.
Yeah, it's not he's only worth 1. because he's just a little boy, whatever. Although that's really messed up to cut a kid's head. But nonetheless, there's some people that are worth 1. There's some people that are worth 5. And so you want to make sure you're getting the one that's worth more. Mm-hmm. And you're always going to take the one that's first in line. And so you were trying to manipulate it, or like what I'll do is like I'm fine with this one, but I'm gonna make some ones that are like negative points. I'm gonna make that next in line. So I'm gonna take this, and then now the one that Mike has to do is negative. So then he would have to then manipulate the line so someone else gets it.
There's different action cards that allow you to like steal cards from people, give people cards as negative cards.
Yeah.
It's all about the action cards. You can play as many action cards as you want, and then you ultimately have to at least take 1 card.
Yeah.
Sometimes it allows you to take 2, because if you get these 2 together, it's better. There's just a lot of fun little actions and stuff, but a very light line manipulation.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a great game, great little filler. It's like $15. It's wonderful, super
Fun.
Weird, morbid theme, but it just works for some reason.
Just works.
And I just love it. I love Guillotine, and that is my number 70.
Boom. Let's get to number 69.
Woo!
69.
All right, number 69.
Which is brought to you by Certified Public Accountants. Now, with that said, let's keep counting down this list.
So number 69 is a game I can't pronounce, so I always just call it Quacky von Quackenstein.
Good call.
And this is what's it, Quacksalber?
Quacksalber von Quedlinburg.
Sure.
Or
Well,
the Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Quacks of Quedlinburg, which is going to be the American version. But Quacky von Quackenstein is a great game. This is a great, that was nominated for Spiel des Jahres. I don't think it won. But it's a great game where it's a push your luck game. It's really ultimately what it is. And you're a quack, and there's no ducks for some reason, but you're a mad scientist, and you have a big cauldron. You're just like throwing stuff in it,
Different
and stuff.
ingredients, just making craziness.
And essentially, you're pushing your luck. You're trying to put as much stuff into you can without busting, because the ingredients you have different values on them, and so
They do
like
different things for you, getting different.
yeah, and so
ingredients.
it's a game that at first I was just like, all right, and then we started playing it, and I was having so much fun. We played it a few times, and I love it. And it's one of those games where we literally are like waiting at this point of recording this. It's not out yet.
It's
in
coming out
America.
very soon, and I
And
cannot
we're like
wait to get it.
pins and needles. I cannot wait to give them my money because I loved it, and I think it's going to climb the ranks. I thought it was so much fun. And a few times I played it, we didn't because we were playing the German version, and so we didn't play with like the action cards because we didn't know what they did. And but then you later played it another time with Dave Luza, who speaks German, and so Dave could translate all the cards, and that made it even better. So I was playing with like the base, no cool action
even
cards,
the full game.
no events, not even the full game. It was just straight push your luck, and it was so much fun. I loved Quacky von Quackenstein. Cannot wait to get it. So excited. I love it.
So good, so fun. My number 69 has been mentioned before.
Really?
You might recall heralding the tales of the French Revolution.
Really?
Chopping
What a way?
nobles' heads off.
So close.
My 69 is Guillotine. So close.
Man.
So close. And as Nick just talked about, it's a great line manipulation game where you're just chopping off the heads of
Classic.
nobles. And
keep redoing that theme.
We're getting the clergy, we're getting the merchants, we're getting the royals, we're getting everybody. And then sometimes the people. And that's unfortunate. You're like, there's just a bloodlust going on. That was just some lady who was there to cheer everyone on, and we just chopped her head off. Sorry about that. And it's just like, it makes light of a pretty dark time.
I know, it's
like,
weird, man. I don't know why it works, but it does. I love it.
So we recovered from that time. It's fine. Guillotine, great game. Play it. Boom. 69.
68. Let's do it.
Pow pow.
Oh.
68.
So number 68 here is brought to you by Pampers Splashers. If you're near water and you have children, you put these, you put them on them, and then water
Doesn't?
like diapers keep in water, but these ones keep it out. I don't understand how children work.
What do these do? Is this a cash grab? We don't have kids, and I'm very confused. I thought diapers stop moisture, this thing breaks my brain. Get rid of it. Also, we got that at a Goodwill. Probably don't buy them at Goodwill. Don't do that.
So true.
Don't do that.
True.
My number 68 is a 2-player deck builder that you've talked about before. It's a great game that you're just fighting each other and getting your right crew together, but it does it in a nice, quick fashion, so that it just makes it all happen really fast. It is Hero Realms.
Oh, okay.
It's a game where you kind of jump into like the third of the way through point, where you can already buy cards that do stuff, and you're just doing these big hits against each other. You might have like 50 health. You're doing like
detrimental
17
hits. You're like,
yeah, but it's like
insane.
satisfying and quick. So you can play like a couple games back to back. And it's just really cool. Like, there's just this market of cards. You're going to hopefully buy cards each turn to fill out that deck a little bit, and then just set to smashing up on each other.
And like, you have different factions, and if you have this faction, it'll trigger all these other ones. And
it's really awesome. And then there's these character packs you can get as well, which just make you a wizard or a ranger, which give you like a little bit of a starting direction, and gives it so that your starting decks aren't exactly the same. And that just kind of takes it to the next level. It's super fun and quick. I've really just enjoyed what they've done with it. And as Nick said, and I agree, I appreciate the theming more than Star Realms. We have both.
They're both
like both. I'm of the mind that they're the same exactly, but it's just like I'd rather have like orcs and things instead of
personal
spaceships.
preference. That's it.
Yeah. But Hero Realms is a great, awesome, fun little deck builder. It's transportable. It's quick. So if you don't want to get into a huge thing and just want to smash each other up, you can't go wrong with Hero Realms. So, yeah.
Cool. Alrighty, my number 68 is going to be a game that Mike has talked about before. Not a crossover, like we said. And this is a game that I actually have played a full game of, and that is War of the Ring. And now a lot of people are going to be like, illegal. But War of the Ring is a great game, and the reason people are saying illegal is because they probably expect it to be higher on my list. But it's just because we don't play it. Huh?
I'm offended.
Yeah, it's just because we don't play it really ever. And it's one of those things, and like, I know, like, we have a friend who it's like his favorite game, and so like I know wants to play it and stuff, so it's probably gonna get played more, and I'm guaranteeing it's gonna go right back up the list. But it's been a while since we've played it, but it's like, as just Lord of the Rings fanatics that we are, it's the most satisfying game for me. It's just because it's big and it's heavy and it's just Lord of the Rings in a box.
Yeah.
And it's like,
it feels epic and grand.
Yeah, and I've never played Battle of Five Armies. I've honestly never really had any interest in playing Battle of Five Armies. Just because for some reason, like, I don't know, the Lord of the Rings saga is to me way more interesting than just the Hobbit and the battle and stuff like that. So I don't know. But nonetheless, War of the Ring is my 68. It's just, if you love Lord of the Rings, you gotta try it. It has everything. Even small stuff like Tom Bombadil pops in. You know, it's just like everything is in there.
It's very satisfying for fans of the books, while still being, I think, accessible for
It's a
people
great
that
game,
haven't read the books, but like all the cards are populated with like minutia from the books.
Yeah,
like,
and it's
details
just,
and stuff. It's very cool.
And the asymmetry of it is so good and so interesting, and it's just it's amazing. It's such a marvel, in my opinion, of game making, and I love it. War of the Ring is my 68. I'm guaranteed it'll go up, be up higher next year. Just
I think
because,
so for both of us,
yeah, it's just gonna get played more. But I love it, absolutely love it. Lord of the Rings is the greatest story ever told, and this is such a good game based off of it.
Boom, there you have it.
All right, let's hit that 67, man.
Let's get at it.
67.
Mario 67 is a great game. This is the game that, well, not specifically this game, but this theme, I guess. I don't know. This universe, I guess, is the game that got us to like dive into board games. It wasn't our gateway game into board games, but this is the game that like went from us like dipping our toes to us jumping off the high dive into board games, which led us here and all this kind of stuff. And this
is Jenga.
This is Zombicide Black Plague. So Zombicide, the original Zombicide, is what got us to dive in, but Zombicide Black Plague to me is like the definitive way to play it, so that's why this is on here.
Makes sense.
But Zombicide Black Plague is my 67. It is a great game. It's a big minis game, cool mini or not, and it's a cooperative game where you have a bunch of different survivors. And there's just zombie hordes coming on the board, and you're just trying to kill them. And you have a different scenario for each game, and you have to do different stuff. Sometimes you have to like collect food. Sometimes you have to like go rescue people. Sometimes you just have to like get different objectives. But the board is a modular board, so it lays out differently for each of these scenarios. You have different rules, and then there's just zombies coming on. And in Black Plague, there's a necromancer. The necromancer comes on the board and is like spawning zombies and such. And it's a CMON game, and so it just has a billion expansions, all gorgeous minis and stuff. But it's just one of my favorite, just kind of like big, we're not really into like big mini games, but this is like one of the games that I just love. And it's a big game. It's got a lot of setup. It's relatively long, so it doesn't give the table quite as much.
It's kind of like it's going to be your night.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Although now they have an app. And the app is like blew our minds when we first played with it because the game has a ton of upkeep because it's just like you have all the different weapon cards and you have these zombie cards where that's how you spawn zombies. Also, there's just stuff everywhere. It's already a big game, but there's stuff everywhere. But the app then takes out everything that isn't the board, the minis, and your minis. Everything else is done on the app. So all your weapons, all the zombie cards, everything else gets done in the app. And you can even see, because you connect your phones, I can look at Mike's character and be like, oh, what do you have? Oh, you have a torch, and then you have this, and you have this. And it makes the bookkeeping and all kind of stuff so much easier. And so now it's like literally all you need is the board and the zombies, and that's pretty much it. And I'm like, that is the only way I'm ever playing. It is so much fun. I love Zombicide. It's a great game, and it is honestly the game that got us to you watching us now. It is. I mean, Pandemic was our first gateway game, but this is the game that got us to dive in. And
Pandemic, we had Catan, and then we got like Zombicide, and that was kind of like the whole like there's more.
Yeah, like
that was such a different thing than the games we played, and I mean that
was it. So Zombicide Black Plague is my 67. It's my opinion the only way to play Zombicide anymore, really. And
at this point,
and it's just great. I love it, love it, love it, love it.
Boom. My number 67 was mentioned
by the pizza guy. Hold on,
by the pizza man. Pizza man, pizza man, pizza. Yep.
How's it going, brother?
Ah.
It's gonna make it weird, don't you?
Yeah. I was thinking about that when I was like, man, we're just too weird for the world. So my number 67 has been mentioned in the last list by Nick. It is a very beautiful abstract game called Santorini. We are around trying to build a building on Santorini. And you sound very Italian, even though
that's not even like a
Parmesan in Greece, you know. And cool. it's just a cool game that takes the whole like idea, I think, of like make an abstract game beautiful to the next level. Table presence out the wazoo. You have this big 3D board and you're building buildings and you're trying to like, you have two workers, and what you can do is you move and then you can build somewhere in the 9 spaces that you're touching.
Yeah.
And that's all you're trying to do is you're trying to build up these buildings and then hopefully stand up on the 3rd level of a building.
Yeah.
But the problem is if you get like a 3rd level and I'm standing here on the 2nd, meaning my next turn I'm going to step up onto that 3rd level and win, Nick can come around, put a person right next to it, cap off that building with a dome, and then no one can stand on that anymore. So it's this kind of like you're trying to get your 2 workers in an area where you can build, but Nick can't quite get there in time, or vice versa. And then you have the addition of these god powers, which might give you an extra build action. You can move further. You can, you can
move as much as you want, as long as you never move up.
Right.
Yeah,
all sorts of little variations that just keep it interesting. And it's just a fun game to continually explore, and it just makes people stop and be like, whoa.
Yeah, it's great to be like, especially when we're playing like a public place, we were like, what is this?
It stopped me dead in my tracks. I was like, what is that? You know, and then we played it, and I was like, this is super fun. It's really hard. And
it's like, you like chess? You want a game that's super simple? Because it's literally move, build. Yeah. That's all you do. Move, build.
So, like, mechanically, it's very simple, but there's so much to think about and so much strategy. It's fantastic. Santorini, the Spin Master version that they come out with has dropped the price considerably, and it's still high quality.
It's still all 3D.
Yeah, it's so affordable. And I'm like, I love that it's affordable for everyone, basically. And, Santorini is just cool, fun, abstract game. That's my number 67.
Awesome. Move on to 66?
Do 66 right now.
Boom.
66.
So my 66 has been mentioned before, and it's a great game to play if you want to get a bit spooky. All right? If you want to get spooky but still be cooperative, if you always thought, I love Clue, but I wish we could work together, Mysterium is the game for you.
Yeah.
It's a game where one of you is a ghost, you've been killed by some suspect, by some weapon or other in some location, and you have to communicate with the living via dream cards. You can't speak because that would be way too easy. Ghosts don't do that. We know this. They speak to you in your dreams. And so you're going to send out these trippy dream cards to everybody. Try to point them in directions. And if you're playing with 4 other people, each 4 is going to have a person, place, and thing that you're trying to get them to get individually. And so it promotes all this cool discussion of everyone's trying to say, like, I think your card means this person. The chef is wearing a hat. You have this big, like, smokestack looking thing in your dream. So maybe that's
looks like a hat.
Yeah, it must be that. It must be that.
Dog.
And then at the end of the game, you kind of say, okay, among these 4 sets that we found, one of them is the actual person, place, and thing. So you kind of continually narrow down. And it's just really fun and interesting. Nick was saying like it's good to play kind of in the middle player count 4 and 5, I think, just because it's a lot of work for the ghosts otherwise and can slow down the game. But it is a fun experience, especially around Halloween, to get atmospheric.
Yeah, get like one light and that's
yeah,
it.
why not get creepy with it?
Yeah.
It's really fun. You can communicate through knocks on the table and everything. It's just just do a bunch. It's just cool, great art. Cool setup, looks really interesting. It's another one that has that great table presence. Mysterium is my 67. It's like Super Clue. Play it instead of Clue.
Indeed. All right, my 66 is a great game. The only thing I love more than my 66, Mike, is my 65. My 64.
There's probably a couple more in there, too.
My 63.
Yeah? 62?
Yeah.
Maybe 62 got misplaced.
61. All the way to 1. I love all of them more than this game. But you know what I love more than any of those games, Mike?
What?
Jackie Chan.
Dude.
Jackie Chan is the greatest thing that's ever happened to the world.
He's America's greatest treasure. And he's not even from here. He's that amazing.
And the thing I love more about Jackie Chan is Jackie Chan's life story. In this book, I Am Jackie Chan. I love this book. We've both read this book multiple times. It's actually great.
There's no jokes. This is like, now that we got this prop and stuff, we love Jackie Chan so much. We've owned this book forever. This is not our first copy of this book. We've read it multiple times.
Yes.
I did a big report in high school all about Jackie Chan based on this book. The love runs deep.
Jackie Chan's the best. My number 66 is a game called Queen Domino.
Oh, yeah.
Queen Domino is my 66. I like Queen Domino quite a bit.
So good.
It is the spiritual successor to King Domino. It's kind of like King Domino's big sister.
Yeah.
And so King Domino is, in both the games, are a game about you're laying out these like long rectangular tiles, and the tile is always split in half, and there are different terrains on either tile. Sometimes it's both terrains, sometimes it's different. But it might be like plains and then like swamps or like lakes or forests or whatever. And like dominoes, you have to match up terrains. Like dominoes, you have to match the numbers, so hence the name Domino. So that's basically all of King Domino. It's very simple, just matching terrains, trying to score points. Queen Domino adds more to it. There are these blank spots that are red, and those you can buy buildings. And ultimately what you're trying to do is make these big areas of land. So you want as big of like a farmland as you can, and then certain tiles have crowns on them. So at the end of the game, you're going to count however many crowns in that area times the amount of squares in that area. So if your area is like 4 squares big and you have 2 crowns, that area is worth 8 points. You count up all your areas, that's the end of the game. But with Queen Domino, you have these red areas and you can buy buildings, and those buildings can have a whole bunch of different stuff. They can have towers, and if you have the most towers, you get the favor of the queen, and then the queen gives you an extra crown. They can just straight up give you points. Some of them give you crowns. Sometimes there are alternate scoring where instead of you wanting one big area of like swamplands, you want as many little areas of swamplands. So you're trying to spread them out, and it really opens up the game, and it opens up the game in a way that I think is great if you want King Domino, but more, essentially. And if you want it more for
more
gamers.
to think about.
King Domino is a great gateway game. It's a great filler game. I actually like it a little more than Queen Domino. But Queen Domino is still really, really great, and I really love it. And it's just, there's a lot going on, and I really like it. And it's just, I like it a lot. Queen Domino is wonderful, especially like King Domino. At least give Queen Domino a try, because I think you really like it a lot, because it's everything in King Domino is in Queen Domino, and there's just more. So like, more is better kind of thing. Two great tastes together taste great. Well, something like that.
That's how good that game is. Right there. Exactly as good as that sentence.
That's my 66. That is Queen Domino.
Good call, dude. Should we do 65?
I suppose.
Should we see about it?
Yeah, might as well. Let's go ahead.
65.
64.
Number 65 is brought to you by Rod Stewart live at the Royal Albert Hall.
Oh yeah, on DVD no less.
Big Rod Stewart fans. On DVD, got the classic Rod Stewart song, which is
You know my name is Rod Stewart.
You know my name is Rod Stewart.
His name is Rod Stewart.
Rod Stewart.
Your mom's probably a fan.
Minus 65 is a game that Mike talked about on a list or two ago. I don't know. But it is a game called Kanagawa.
Oh yeah.
Kanagawa is a great game by Yellow and Bruno Catala that, again, I feel like is overlooked a lot.
Yeah.
But it's a game where you are in Japan and you are a painter and you are painting a giant landscape, essentially. And there are different kinds of landscape. There's like woods landscapes and like mountains and like seascapes and all this kind of stuff. And you have to get the different skills to learn how to paint those different landscapes. So you're like, oh, now I can learn how to paint seascapes. But it's all just kind of selecting different things to paint certain ones. But the way you get the cards, the way you get the paintings is very, very interesting. It's done in a column system where however many players there are, you'll put out these different cards, and it's ultimately a set collection game as well, because you're trying to collect different sets. There's ones with like buildings on them or animals, and there's ones you want to collect more buildings than other people and such. So there's cards that get laid out, and then start with the first player. You either can take a column of cards or pass. So let's just assume everyone passes, then another card comes in the column. So now there's 2 cards, and again, you have to take a column or pass. And so the longer you wait, the more cards you're going to get. But if in the very, very first one, there's a card you really need, oh, do I stop and just get it now, or and get less cards? And there's a big, it's really, really difficult to navigate all of that. And it's super fun though.
If you pass, someone else might grab that.
Exactly, exactly. And then sometimes you want more cards, sometimes you want less. You need to maybe I need this card because I need to learn how to make seascapes or whatever. It's a great game. Mike talked about it as well, but it's a game that's overlooked, beautiful. And I really like Kanagawa. I just played it again at Game Night the other day, introduced it to some people, and they really liked it. It's just wonderful.
Fantastic game. My number 65 is a great 2-player only game. You're putting down different shaped tiles and trying to build a quilt. You're quilting.
Oh, okay.
It is Patchwork. It's a game that I've been playing a little more recently because it's been a bit of a break just because, when you have a lot of games, you just don't play everything all the time. And it just reminded me how fantastic it is.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's this great game where you're getting kind of random Tetris style pieces, and you have a predestined
polynomial
grid,
tiles.
Yeah, that you're trying to put your pieces on, and hopefully cover up as much of that grid as as humanly possible.
You gotta do it.
But you have to pay for all those pieces, and you get buttons, which is cool and thematic. Buttons are on a quilt. And so you kind of build this button economy, because some of the tiles have buttons on them, and there's several times when you're going through the board where you're going to pass a button space, which gets you essentially more money to buy more stuff. And so the tiles themselves have a really interesting payment system where you're going to pay a certain amount of buttons, but you also have to pay a certain amount of time to basically weave it. And certain ones might be cheap in buttons, but you have to move forward in time, and every time is a space forward on the board, and when you get to the center, you're done. So it's do I want to get something that's going to move me forward 6 spaces? And there's also this cool thing that if you're behind on the board, you're further away from the center, it's your turn. And if you have someone who's 6 or 7 spaces ahead and you get something that only moves you forward 3 spaces, guess what? You're still behind, you go again.
Yeah.
And again, until you pass the player and leapfrog. And so it's just, there's a lot of really interesting stuff in this game. And it's cool because it's this whole game that is a piece of a bigger game called Feast for Odin, where you're kind of filling out a board with different shaped things. And that kind of mechanic of putting together the puzzle is so interesting that people were this should just be a thing.
Yeah.
And so they're all right, instead of Vikings, it's quilts. It's such a synonymous with each other.
And then cottage gardens, then Indian summers, and then
it's on and on and on. People like the puzzle thing,
yeah, it's fun. Everyone loves
Tetris.
Tetris.
And so Uwe's taking that straight to the bank, and why not,
Print that money.
But Patchwork is, I love it. It's just 2-player. It's you can kind of wind down with it, but it is a thinker and stuff. It's just chill. I play with my lady, and we just enjoy it, and it's just a great experience. I love that game.
It's great. Patchwork is wonderful.
Building quilts, who knew?
All right, 65. Move on to 64.
Let's do it.
Oh, 64.
All right, so my number 64 is all about cruising on a beach, aka you're stuck on an island and trying to build the best island I guess you can. But what happens, Nick, if you don't have a table to play on? You gotta play in your hands, man.
Oh, man.
And so we're gonna bring the beach right to your fingertippies in Palm Island, my number 64. You know what I'm talking about, that beach life?
That beach life,
You just want to experience that beach life all the time.
But it's when you're on the beach, you kind of need somewhere to go, get your stuff.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
You gotta get your stuff. Could you maybe go to Goofy Foot?
I think you can go to Goofy Foot.
Goofy Foot, Maui, Hawaii, Goofy Foot?
Yeah, dude. You know what? Because you gotta learn how to surf before the surf learns you.
Yeah,
And you can do that right there at Goofy Foot, and it's just a short jaunt over a big piece of ocean to Maui.
Yeah.
We go all the time with all that money we have living in Los Angeles. So Palm Island is a really cool, gimmicky game, but is actually really fun and simple. And the whole gimmick is that you can play it in your hand. It's just cards. You can hold those cards in certain ways in your hand. And you basically are getting resources and then turning in those resources to build temples and houses, which give you points, or you try to upgrade your different resource cards, which will give you points and give you more resources and stuff like that. It's very simple. And it's just cool. Like, there's just a few things to keep track of. Like, if you want to store, if I'm holding all my cards upright, you can look at the top two. And if you want to store like a fish, you just put it at the back of the deck, but turn it sideways so it's sticking out the side here. So it reminds you, hey, I can use this fish. Then if you have something you want to spend that fish, you just turn it 90 degrees back and pay for that thing. Yeah. And you can either pay to upgrade cards by flipping them over or flipping them 180 degrees and putting them to the back. And it's a lot of this business. And you go through 8 quick rounds and you count up your score. You can play it cooperatively, you can play it competitively, you can play it solo. It's
pretty darn versatile, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I bring it with me everywhere. I would bring it when I would do shows and be backstage and stuff. I would just like play a quick round by myself.
We were voting the other day. We were waiting in line voting, and both of us were sitting there playing Palm
Island. Waiting in line. And like it was awesome.
It was great.
It's like, well, we can't sit down. Let's just play this in line. Yeah. It was fantastic. It's just a fun little game. It's simple. It's just a little puzzle you can just do on your own, and you can take it anywhere. So Palm Island, like, we got it at Gen Con. It's already on my list. Like, I really love it.
I like it a lot. And here's the thing, Mike, about Palm Island is you talk about you can take it anywhere, but you can really. Mike didn't talk about the best part about the game is they are plastic cards. You can play in a hot tub.
They are waterproof.
It comes in a waterproof case, like
so you can keep the game in your hot tub in between hot tub trips, and then when you go, you just pop it open, get the cards wet, dunk them, drop them, pick them back up.
Doesn't matter. It's great. So unnecessary.
So great. Yeah, it is a fantastic gimmick. I love that about it because it also fits in, like, oh, you crash landed on an island or whatever. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's so fun.
It's great. Yeah. All right. That is 64. I forgot to look at my 64.
What is it?
Ooh, 64. Oh, I love this game. This is one of the classic card games. This is a game we play with our grandparents all the time, and our dad and our uncle and stuff. This game is cribbage. Cribbage is I don't know if it's on my list. I feel like it's not. You gotta throw it in there somewhere, dude. Kick it off. Cribbage is on my list. It's honorary for you. I know you love it. Cribbage is a game where it's like, do you have it?
I have no idea.
Oh my gosh. Cribbage is a game, I don't know how to describe it, but it's a classic card game like, Hearts or all those other games, but it's not trick taking. And essentially you have a peg board and you're trying to score points by pegging. And you score points by doing a whole bunch of different stuff. So you have a hand for 4 cards. And certain things you can score points is by having 15. So like a 10 and a 5, that's 15.
Yeah, 9
that's
and a 6, 7 and 8.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, exactly. 9 and 6, 7 and 8. But if you have like 2 10s and a 5, that's worth 4 points because it's 15-2 and then 15-4.
And then you also have a pair of 10s, which is also 2 points.
Exactly. So pairs are points, triplets are points, runs, so like 3, 4, 5, that's 3 points. And then you can start getting like multiple 15s and like double runs because you have like 3, 4, 4, 5 and all this different stuff. And it's like the point scoring is all over the place. And so during there's 2 parts of the game. The first part is everyone's playing their cards. Mm-hmm. So I play a card and I'll go 8 because I put down an 8. Then Mike will go down,
play a 6, and now we have 14.
So he goes 14, and then I'll go 20. I'll put down a 6 again, and but I put down another 6, so I put down a pair, and you get 2 points. I'm not gonna explain. It's very confusing if you've never played it before, but it is a game that we play with our grandparents. Our grandparents love cribbage. Our grandfather's he's a woodworker. He liked to do fine woodworking, and he made. Probably a couple hundred cribbage boards in his life. He made cribbage boards that are beautiful, and they're all we have like 3 or 4 of them on our shelf behind us. There's like one in the shape of a pineapple. There's one that's thing. He made one on like some antlers, some deer antlers, and he would like drill all the holes. There's all these different ones that he made and stuff because they loved cribbage so much, and we used to play all the time with them. And we've introduced it to people. I love it. It's my favorite kind of classic card game by far. And I love it. I love it all the time. It's just, cribbage is amazing.
It's a classic thing that like has so much nostalgia and family.
So much history with
ties, and a lot of people have that experience with the older members of their family, and it's just like a really cool thing.
And like I cannot wait to teach like my kids someday cribbage, like I can't wait to like
it's really cool
that.
Because like that's a huge part of why I can count and add at all.
Yeah.
Is that game taught me very quickly 6 + 8 is 14.
Yeah,
and so I'm like, it's also really good for school age kids to learn quick addition and memory and things like that. So yeah, it's just, I mean, yeah,
It's great. I love Cribbage, and it's on Mike's list also at number 64. Let's go ahead and say it. Yeah, exactly. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yep, that's 64.
Bam.
63?
Now that I'm ready to cry, let's do it.
I know.
63.
I gotta say, dude, your hair is on point right now.
No, right?
Yeah.
You know, I've been on this big search for the perfect bun, you know,
Yeah.
on the planet. And, you know, I was at a boutique the other day, and I picked up Pinup Girl hairstyling kit, and I tell you, it made me have the perfect bun. It's so useful and so easy, and they give you everything you need to make the chic bun, which is what I'm wearing right now.
Okay.
The super
I like
chic
that.
bun. You can make the perfect ponytail.
Okay.
Classic beehive. All I know is that this is changing my hair game, and I'm pretty darn pumped about it.
Wow, that's incredible. I don't have words. I think you should just talk about your board game now.
Yeah, Pinup Girl. Get it today.
Wow.
It's the best. So now, my number 63 is a wonderful, wonderful game that I adore, and a game that, like, a lot of people, I feel like, don't really like for really dumb reasons, and that is a game called Rococo.
Okay.
Rococo is a game where you are a garment maker, and you are
Yes.
making dresses and, like, coats and stuff for men and women that you are then sending to a party. And a lot of people get like, oh, I don't want to play it. I'm going to be a seamstress, which is stupid. And I feel like this game has never really caught on, in fact, despite the fact that it's a really amazing game, because a lot of people just aren't really down with the theme, which I think is silly.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Rococo is a great game. So you are, again, making garments, and then you can either decide to sell those garments for money, or you can put them in the King's Hall. The board is mostly...
basically rent out the dress to someone who's going to this party.
Exactly. And the more places you have your dresses on the different floors of the King's Hall, the more prestige you're going to get, because that means your dresses and your waistcoats are being seen by lots and lots and lots of people. And it's great. And then on top of that, you can, like, fund different events for the show. So you can, like, fund a musician on this floor, or you can, like, fund fireworks up on the terrace
have a nice statue out front.
or have a nice statue. And essentially, you're trying to get the most prestige and the most, essentially, I guess, the king's favor in this game, and you do that through a bunch of different ways. But it's a really great game where you're getting different workers, and the workers can do certain things. So there's masters, there's like journeymen, and then there's like apprentices. And, like, the apprentices can make some garments, but they can't make, the really fancy ones. Only masters can do that. Or you can make it, but then only a master can put it in a certain spot.
They got the connections
They
to the
got the
queen,
connections
you know what
to
I mean?
get next to the
Yeah.
king and stuff, you know? So, and it's a really, really great game that the first time we played it, like, broke our heads. Because it's pretty thinky, and we were just like, oh, I don't know what's going on. And we played it a couple more times, and it's just, oh, it's so good. And it's out of print, and I wanted to come back into print so bad because I want it really, really bad, but it's out of print right now. But Rococo is such a good game. The only thing better in the world than that game is this bun.
I mean, and that's saying something.
Yeah,
That's the thing about it.
that's right.
Speaking of great buns and parties, my game is a party. If you're into barely staying alive, aka also probably you're just gonna die on a cursed island, and you are Robinson Crusoe.
Oh,
Robinson
Crusoe.
Adventures of the Cursed Island, Robinson Crusoe. It is like a true survival game. It's a game that we had made a top 10 list a while back on the Brothers Murph. You can check it on YouTube right now. Where we did top 10 underused themes we want to see more of. And one thing that I was talking about is like a game that like deals with like survival and like in the elements and stuff in a realistic way, or in a heavy way, I guess. And everyone said like this game exists and it is going to be perfect for you, and it's Robinson Crusoe. And we were gifted the game and played it, and it absolutely delivered on that
delivers
front.
hard.
It's a cooperative game, and you're playing as like a chef, an explorer, carpenter, and like a soldier. And they each have like different little attributes and things they can do, and you're just trying to like stay alive, and there's different scenarios. So in the first scenario, you're trying to build like basically a big wood pile that to make a signal fire to get rescued.
Of course,
and you're trying to get rescued, and then in other ones there might be like poachers and different adventures you're trying to go on, but like the island is actively trying to kill you. There's like beasts you have to fight and stuff, but going on hunts might be also helpful for getting things to survive. You got to feed your people, you got to stay warm and have shelter because the weather's coming. It snows, and it just everything just like beats you
so hard
down. Like it's so brutal. It's so brutal.
Yeah.
We've won exactly one game of it.
Yeah.
We've had our hearts broken multiple times where it's like the last turn, and if we can just get this one thing to go right, and the one card comes up here, it's like
I had to take a 3 or 4 month break from the game because it destroyed me when we lost.
it was the last. It was the only thing that could have happened that would have killed us, and it happened.
It was literally the last part of the last phase of the last round, and if we could just get to this little part, it would have been fine. And just
survive the night.
One little thing went a wrong way, and I mean, it was like we'd gone through the entire game, barely made it, and it was so excruciating. And I was like, I never get like mad after games, and I was mad. Yeah, I mean, I was mad at the same time. Like
But what a great experience!
That's the thing. Is like this game is so worth it for all the experiences. Yeah, absolutely, great choice.
Robinson Crusoe, my number 63. It's so good. It's so fun. It's brutal.
Yeah, it's brutal. All right, let's move on to number 62. I'm gonna think I'm gonna try out the classic Beehive next.
All right, man. Good luck.
62.
So my number 62 has been mentioned by Nick kind of in the abstract. He prefers this version of the game over another version. I prefer the other version over this version. My number 62 is King Domino.
Yeah.
King Domino, as we were talking about, is a really simple game where you're trying to match land types, at least one land type. You're trying to build a kingdom or a queendom, as I like to throw out there, in a 5x5 grid.
Yeah.
So you get kind of locked in, and as the game goes, things get scarce in terms of like what you're allowed to grab, and you're grabbing these tiles, and there's this cool idea of the lower value tiles, the tiles that don't offer as much, are higher up on like a priority track. So when you grab a tile from this round, you're going to place a little marker on the tile you want in the future round, and the higher up you go, it's going to be a less valuable tile, but you get to go earlier in the round, which means you have more options of tiles to pick for the future round. So it just adds like these little things to keep track of. And the thing I love about King Domino is that you can teach and play it in like 20 minutes.
Yeah. With like 4 people. Yeah. No problem.
Everyone's new.
No
It's
problem.
that quick. I played it with kids. They love it.
Yeah.
And, you know, there are things like Queen Domino if you want more of a challenge. There's the Age of Giants expansion if you want to add just like another little fun element. Yeah. But like the base game itself is fantastic. It's a fantastic filler. It should be at everyone's game night. And it's just so easy to teach and play. Anyone can play that game. Anyone can play that game. It's totally it's language independent. Yeah. Thank you. And yeah, just love King Domino. Can't speak about it enough. Queen Domino is higher on my list because I do enjoy those things that it gives you. But like you cannot, like King Domino comes to our game night every time. Queen Domino does not.
No, yeah.
Because King Domino like can get played all the time anywhere. And like you cannot, I can't talk enough about how important that is, especially, you know, for the hobby.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just love King Domino, and that's my 62.
That's great. That's great. My 62 is a game. It's a cooperative game and a real-time game. Two things I really like because I love the chaos of real-time. And this game, man, it is getting hot in this kitchen. This game is
like,
Kitchen Rush.
Here?
Yeah, Kitchen Rush is my number 62. Nice. I love Kitchen Rush. Kitchen Rush is actually also a cooperative worker placement game, of which there are not very many because it's a difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
But essentially, each person has 2 workers, and the workers are sand timers.
Yep.
Are sand timers, and they're all, I think, 30-second sand timers. Mm-hmm. So, and there's a bunch of different spots around the kitchen, and you are trying to put out orders. The order might be like spaghetti bolognese, or this, and this, and this. And each order has certain things you need. So, like a spaghetti bolognese, you're going to need pasta, you're probably going to need vegetables, you know, something else, and then spices. And so, what you're going to do is you're going to go over here, get this order, and then you have to get a certain plate, because all the orders have to be on a certain plate size. And you put it on your little board here. And each order has to be cooked a certain amount. So, like, salad doesn't have to be cooked at all, but something like a lasagna has to be cooked like
salads.
Yeah, exactly. But like a lasagna, it's gonna have to be cooked 3 times. So you have to spend time cooking all those things, but you have to make sure you have the ingredients. It's just all over the place. But the thing is each round, and I think there's 3 or 4 rounds in the game.
4, I believe. Yeah.
4. Each round is 4 minutes long.
Yeah.
4 minutes long, and each of your timers are 30 minutes. And those are your 2 workers. Everyone has 2 workers, and there's one, like, generic worker that anyone can use.
Yeah.
But when I go to, like, I'm going to move this person over here to cook something, I have to flip my timer. And then I cannot move that worker again until the 30-second timer ran out. So it's like, boom, you move it, and then you're doing all this stuff, and you're just like, waiting for it to go, waiting for the last grand angle movie, like, boom, do this, and then it's just this crazy, like, everyone's like, no, you can't go there, I need to go there, and everyone's just like moving around, trying to do your own stuff, but trying to communicate, and then like the 4 minutes is done, and you see if you like cook the stuff you needed to cook, because if you didn't get the food out, your customers get angry. And you start getting like negative points and stuff, or if you cook something wrong, like you cook it too much, or you forgot to throw in the spices or something like that, it's going to get sent back, and that's negative points.
You're not eating it.
And then after that, you kind of get there, and then you all sit there and discuss, like, okay, I'm going to grab this, and we're going to do this, and kind of have a rough idea of what you're going to do, and then you go again, and everything goes out the window, and it's amazing. Yeah. And I love Kitchen Rush. It's so much fun. You've been super enamored of this game for a long time, and I was always kind of like, yeah, it seems okay. And then we finally just bought it. And now I'm like, I'm right here with you. Right here with you. You were always, I always seemed to, but you were super enamored with this game. Yeah. And I was like, okay. And it's amazing.
And it's just one of those games that like, because you see like sand timers and all this and that. And from the outside, I can see how people be like, I mean, I hope it lives up to its gimmick.
Right.
You know? And so it's like, I totally understand like your trepidation. But yeah, it was just one that I was like, I have to try it. I know I have to try it, and I hope it lives up to it, and it totally does. So
yeah,
totally. Kitchen Rush, that's a good choice. That's a fun one.
Yeah, Kitchen Rush is great.
Oh, it's awesome.
All right, that's 62.
Let's do 61.
61.
Whew. Tonight's the night. This is the night you may find the girl of your dreams. But how's she gonna find you on a crowded dance floor on a Friday night? Axe Dark Temptation. She's gonna smell you from 40 feet out. Want your dreams to come true? This is how you do it! Oh, she's gonna hate it.
All right, number 61, the last for this list. Oh my gosh, you smell so bad.
That's great.
You smell like Lori. You smell horrible. My 61 is going to be a game that was on your list earlier. Shocker. And it's a great game that is just the most massive produced game in existence, and that is Mechs vs. Minions.
Yes.
Mechs vs. Minions is another cooperative game, a cooperative programming game, because programming games I'm very, very kind of meh on, because it's just you have plans and they get thrown out the window because people keep bumping you or doing stuff. Like, I'm not a huge fan of like something like Robo Rally. It's okay, but it's not my favorite. But I like this one because you have mechs and all these minions, hence the name, and you are programming your mechs, and they're just running through and killing all these minion stuff, and it's all episodic, so you have a bunch of different campaigns for it. It's super fun, but then it's like we're not trying to go against each other, so we're actively trying to not like run into each other unless it's like purposeful, like, hey, I'm gonna bump you this way,
forward,
that kind of stuff. Exactly. So it's like I like that, but then same time as you're getting hit by the minions, if they're adjacent to you, they'll hit you. And if they hit you, start getting damaged. So it might be like you're like,
and then force a turn to the right.
Like halfway through your thing is totally thrown out. But it gets so crazy and fun, and it's super tough, but it's just great. And it's by Riot Games, so they have literally billions and billions of dollars, and it's I don't know, it's a great game. I like it a lot. It's super fun, great programming game, and just the most massive game ever.
Stuff on stuff.
Yeah, it's a great programming game though. If you like the idea of programming, but they kind of fall short because of that, give it a try, because for me, it's the kind of programming game I enjoy.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that just the only reason programming falls short is I think the competitive nature of those games.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's cool and that's what the game is about, but I'd rather work together to make a fun puzzle and solve it and stomp out a bunch of stuff together. So I'm with you on that, man.
Yeah.
My number 61 is a 2-player asymmetric game by the name of Raptor.
Oh!
Okay, and it's all about
I think this would be
dinosaurs.
higher on your list.
Yeah, I mean, maybe double check. Did I read it right?
I think so.
Yeah, it's right there.
Right,
61.
cool.
Hey, man. Almost made it halfway. Raptor is a game that I think we both do think it's crazy interesting, the asymmetric nature. You're either playing dinosaurs, you're like a raptor mom and little raptor babies, or you're scientists trying to capture these raptors for study or for like mounting on a wall. I don't know what. I feel like the humans are the absolute villains, even though that's pretty much all I've ever played. And they have you play these 8 cards. And each of the cards will do different things based on if you're the raptor or the humans, and you're trying to play the player, and make sure that you play like either strategically the high card of a turn or a low card. So the person who plays the high card, they're gonna get like generic actions for their turn.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be based on the difference between the low card. So if I play my big cards in 8, Nick plays a 2. I'm going to get 6 random actions that I can either move or attack if I'm the dino and do these things. So I could like just run around a rampage.
Yeah, totally.
But like you might also play the lower card. You get just the ability that's listed on that card. So you can maybe strategically play. Like Nick knows I'm going to play my big card. He knows I'm going to do it. I play my 8. He plays a 7. So he's only going to get to do the action on the card. But the 7 is a beastly card. Yeah. Because it's hard to play and have it be the low card. It's very difficult to pull off.
It is very difficult.
So the higher the card, the cooler kind of the abilities. But the more difficult it's going to be to play it, you're probably going to play it for general actions. Yeah. It's just really interesting. They have different win conditions. If you're the raptor or the humans, there's different things you can do, different ways you move and operate. You know, if you're scientists, you get more scientists as the game goes, potentially. You can, start fires and all these things. It's just a cool game. It's just really cool, really interesting. Yeah, so that's my number 61. I like it. I want to continue to explore it. I think it could go higher the more we have it. I think it could. And it's, right now for now, it's firmly in the middle.
That's totally fine.
And I feel like I haven't even explored everything that this game has.
We each only played one side.
Yeah.
We played the game a bunch of times. He's always played the scientist. Each time I'm like, because I want to keep exploring this. We've never switched, which I think is interesting. And so it's like this game is that great and we've only ever played one side.
Yep. So I dig it. And that's what's so cool. I'm like, we've only effectively played half the game.
Yeah.
And we've gotten a lot of mileage out of just that. And then eventually we'll switch and it'll be like playing all new stuff again. So, that's my 61 is Raptor.
All right. Cool. 61. All right. Well, that is 61. That is going to be the end of this here list.
Wow.
Wowzers. Wow, cool. Okay, so then the next one is going to be 60 through 50, and that is going to be the top half. Oh my gosh. All right, we are cruising along. Thank you so much for joining us again. Make sure to check us out over on YouTube, where we do top 10s and all sorts of silly stuff all the time.
Here, just at the Brothers Murph, search us, you'll find us.
It's pretty easy, yeah.
We also live stream on Twitch. Again, you can find us by searching the Brothers Murph. And we live stream games a couple times a week. We do Kickstarter roundups every other week, and we have a lot of fun. So give some suggestions in the comments of games you'd want to see us live stream, and we can play it for you. If anything on this list is something you want to see, let us know in the comments below.
Cool.
Let's get out of here.
That's right.
Cheers, folks. We'll see you in the next 10.
Peace.
Bye.